And with that, I think we can get going. Let's hit the play button and see what we get.
We are the slayers of the Mortak, the bravest of the brave. The traditions of our ancestors who came here in the age before live strong within us. We know that they were the greatest of warriors who stood against all and were never vanquished, even by the great ancient horror that consumed the stars. We have kept the old ways and the ancient pact to rebuild and regain the greatness of the champions of old. The ancient tales speak of powerful enemies, battles greater than any we have seen, and incredible dangers. The honor and glory that awaits us is beyond reckoning. We will use the star drive our ancestors left for us and send forth the brave, the Mortalen, to reclaim the stars.
Okay, reclaim the stars. Yes, we will. And we have found technology that advanced our understanding of early warp field experiments. We have also found technology that's advanced our understanding of research labs. We also have a 6% colony development bonus and an 8% scenery bonus. Now, one thing I didn't show you before we fired up is on this line here that I'm hovering over for a development, is it said plus 17 from resources, and that's all it said. And now that we've discovered our ruin, it's taken 6% from the resource column and put it in the other items column. So we're still at 17, but we've just shifted a couple things around here to allow for our ruin. Now the 11% from resources is shrinking, and it's actually gonna affect our bottom line pretty heavily. This hasn't actually kicked in yet. It's still showing 17.1 here, but that's going to drop like a stone here shortly. And it's mainly going to be because of corruption. So if we fire up the game a bit more, we'll dismiss this message here. See what happens. We're going to get our first ship constructed. Yep, we have an exploration ship. Let's take me to it. Tab key so we can get a free camera. Look at that. I like the Mortalen ship set. I really do. Very rugged and tough looking. Lots of armor. Lots and lots of armor. So I'm going to select him. And we're going to get him to come over and for the moon. And we'll dismiss that. And he's going to go over and start scanning the moon for us. And we're going to keep an eye on our homeworld for a second. Okay, we've already dropped to 10% resources and shrinking, and I'm just going to hit pause one more time. There's a military dictatorship. This is bonuses from our government. We get improved escorts, system patrol starships, which are our frigates, and shock forces. And an armor force is also available on a homeworld, which kind of sucks because they're expensive. Yeah. Troop maintenance 278 for this guy that just showed up. I don't think I want that. It's not very good defense. And that's not the bad defense, but it's pretty expensive, 375. But we do have a maintenance savings bonus here. I might actually get rid of that armor force for now and just replace them with a infantry, who's a little bit cheaper to maintain. All right, so I am going to just pause right away. We do have unknown items on our homeworld. That's the 2 question marks here, and hopefully one of those is a luxury. New Explorer we just sent to the moon. And then we have our improved escorts researched already, which is awesome. We get patrol escorts and heavy escorts right out the gate. We also get frigates right out the gate. Awesome. I'm probably not going to build any right away. That's more expense in the early games, so I'll probably just stick with our escorts for now. But we can build better ones this time around. Good. And Shock Force research has been complete, and it allows us to build the armor barracks, which we don't really need right away, so I'm probably not going to build that. Select our world here. We can come in. There's our there's our armor barracks there. Again, I'm not going to build it right now. Number one, it needs 10,000 to start building, and it's going to cost us 500 credits in maintenance, which we can't really afford right now. So, but this one here, as you can see, it's costing us 278 in troop maintenance, and that's a little expensive to get going with. So I'm just going to delete this troop. It's a bit of a waste, but well, I'm going to get rid of him. And that should eliminate that. Yep, troop maintenance is now gone. Okay, so some things have happened here. First of all, our corruption just kicked in. 77%. Wow. All right, yeah, that's pretty heavy. So let's have a look at our homeworld now. Okay, our revenue on our planet, development rate is 55%. So our revenue here is 16.7, which is awesome. However, 76.9% of it is going to corruption. This is the underworld. Yeah, can't do much about it. It just happens, right? But that leaves us 38.66. And that is what the private revenue is getting right now. 38.66, and that's it. It went from 17 with 77% corruption, went down to 38.66. And then our gross tax revenue is 387, but we have a support cost of 1,000, which leaves us a net tax revenue of minus 613. The state, has to pay the private sector. That's how bad the startup is. Yeah, we don't get money from the private sector. We have to pay the private sector out of our bank account. Every year we're paying this because of corruption. So this is a really, really harsh start. Yeah, look at this. Only taxes. We're actually feeding them money. So yeah, that's how terrible the start is. Anyways, we're going to continue on, but let's watch these numbers. We're going to pay attention to this number here, 38.66, and we're in this one here, colony taxes. It's actually a payout of 613 in the negative. So we're just going to hover over the development, and we'll watch this go up or come down, I guess. Oh, before we get going, I'm just going to hit pause again. We're going to come in and rush our warp field experiments. Do this after that first event fires because you get it for half price. Pay 75, you can pay 38. Which is awesome. All right. So once again, hovering over our development, we'll continue on. So we're 9% resources and shrinking. 8% and shrinking. We're going to drop below 4,000 on the private colony or private revenue. Yep, 39.72 now. And our colony taxes are going up as far as how much we have to pay the private sector. There's 7%, 39.13. Our payment is now 650. It's gonna get horrible. Wait till the level's off, man. 38.55. Yep. Dropping like a stone. Like I said, I'm hoping one of these question marks on our homeworld is an actual luxury with some development on it. It's going to be a really harsh start. Yeah, we're heading towards 700 to pay the private sector now. 5% left to shrink. Down to 4. We're at 36.84 on the private revenue. Yeah, this kind of stuff I like watching at every game. This is what makes it interesting to me. I'm really curious on what we're going to level out at here. 3% resources. We're down to 36.28, 35.99. We have to pay the private sector 714 credits. This is going to be horrible. 2% left. We're still dropping. Yep. This is going to get awful. 34.82. So with that in mind, we have to watch the private sector that we don't bankrupt our private sector. That's quite possible to do at this level. And there we are, 0 from resources, shrinking. It should go static in a minute, and that'll be our bottom line for this game. Okay, I'm going to hit pause here. So resources have gone static. We got 6% from our other items, which is our rune. And that is it. We are settling at 46% development. Total private colony revenue is 3868. And 731 of it's coming from us. Yep, this is pretty harsh. So we are paying the private sector 731 credits. But we also have our own expenses too. So 1,051 every year is going to come off our bank account. 731 of it going to the private sector. So that's a pretty bleak start. And it looks like our explorer is over here scanning the moon already. So we'll just fire back up. Yeah, that's a pretty harsh start. Absolutely. This corruption will get better in a minute. I'm concerned about that right now. That should drop by half pretty soon. Generally, when you get your warp field experiments research, that'll drop to like half. So that's going to make our bottom line better. Not going to make it great. We're still probably going to be in the negatives, but it'll make it a little better. At least we won't have the corruption killing us. All right, so in the queue, we have a construction ship being constructed. And we have our explorer. He's scanning the moon. We should find out what's on that shortly. There will be a research bonus here. We just don't know what it is yet. And this number here is probably going to not budge for a long time. And this number is going to go up and up and up. And we will be in debt pretty soon. So, harsh start. And there's our construction ship there. All right, so he's 58%, which means we're going to need some bases designed here. Keep going. And we're going to be doing bare bones build outs on that stuff. Keep our maintenance costs as low as we can for the moment. All right, so I'm going to hit pause, and we're going to go design a couple of stations. Right after I grab a sip of coffee. Hang on, what did I just see? Oh, discovery. Ah, excellent. Utapian Anex just showed up at our homeworld. And it's got a 5% colony development bonus to it. We're going to grow again. Once we start the game back up, we're going to grow again by 5%. That's going to help as well. Excellent. Really hoping there'd be a luxury here. Okay, anyways, that's taken away from what I was going to do. We are going to come in and design some bases. And we're going to select our state bases because that's what the two are going to build are. We're going to build a spaceport and a research lab. So the first two stations we need to put down right away. We're going to add new. We're going to build this up from scratch. And we're going to go small spaceport. And there's some various stats here. Some weapon range increase, shield recharge rates, cost of 7,000, targeting, countermeasures, that kind of thing. Various stats. We're just going to manually create a new design because I want to build this in a specific order. So we have a blank slate and we have a build cost of 7750. There's a size charge for every ship you build, so that's why it's not 7,000, 750. And there are a bunch of other stats here as well. And most of them say 0, so don't worry, look at that too much. Okay, so I'm going to sort by family on both of these. Easier for me to find stuff. And we're going to build the hull out first when we construct this. And then the first thing that's going to be built after that, these components get built in the order you put them on the station in the design screen. So first thing I'm going to want after the hull is built, we're going to want a research lab so we can get ourselves some research points, 12 points for research for putting the lab on here. And there's only one spot for it. There's only 160 spots, so we'll plop it in there. You can see our industry changed a bit. We have research output now, and we require a bit of power. Power it up. Don't worry about power quite yet. One thing I am going to do next is I'm going to look at our maintenance savings, which is 0% right now. We have 391 credits per year to maintain the station. So what we can do is we can add our commerce center. I'll just unselect the labs. Our commerce center offers 10% maintenance savings. And a few other things here too, including countermeasures and targeting at 10%. and some damage reduction stuff. But right now, I'm just going to look at the maintenance savings. So if we put on a command center with our 10%, there we go, 10%, and we went from 393 down to 359. That's not the only component that does that. We have crew systems as well. That gives us another 10%. So let's put a crew system on. Boom. 20% savings, 331. I mean, we haven't finished building the station yet. We're saving money on it. That is definitely a good thing. So we're going to build a research lab, then we're going to build our money savers, and then we're going to build 2 construction yards so we can build some ships. And I do like 2. We can build in tandem. If we're just deconstructing ships, I can tie one up deconstructing, and I can use the other one to build out. So we build our hull, we build our research labs, we get our maintenance savings, and we get somewhere to build our ships, which is basically all I want for the station at the moment. So we're kind of done with what I need. So now we have to fulfill our requirements. So we click on this, we can lock this open, and we can come down and you can see we need more crew, reactors, blah, 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 and then some suggestions down here. These are required, these red ones. These are just suggestions. Most of it, we don't have tech for it yet anyway. So I think we'll just build out the power. Go to power next. We'll put a reactor on. There's our power bar there. It looks like we're satisfying everything. We have an excess energy output, so we don't need any more power. Going to get, while we're on power, we're going to get an energy collector as well. Basically, energy collectors, they feed the static energy usage, which is basically your standby power. Think of your monitor going to sleep. There's still a little trickle of power going through it to wake up. When it wakes up, it uses main power. So it's kind of like that. It's kind of standby power. If you're not using a component, it still needs that little bit of trickle, and that's what the energy collection does. It also helps fill your energy bar. If you have no fuel, then it will help fill your energy bar for firing your weapons, and that's very slow, though. You definitely want the reactor output behind it. We also need fuel for the reactor, so that would be next. And we'll also need a cargo bay as well. And I'm just going down that list. I know it off the top of my head. So, and I think one more crew system. Yes. And this is the functional station as it sits. We don't need to put anything else on it to get it to do what I want it to do. There's no defense. There's no weapons. There's no nothing. Don't really need it all right now. We can get that done a bit later. And I'm going to call this the platform 1. Orbital assembly. And that one is done. And then we're going to add new research station as well. And pretty much the same thing. We're going to start with the research lab. We can put 2 on this one. Then we're going to go to our money savers, which is our command center. Cargo bay. And again, if you want to see the other stats, there's a damage reduction that the command center is giving us. And various other stats, the card targeting, countermeasures, and everything. I'm not going to go through and show you what each component does. You can put it on and see for yourself as you build out. I did that in another stream, and it took forever to build a station, so I think I'll just be a little more brief at this and get stuff done. And again, I'm just going through this list off the top of my head, so just open that up and fulfill your requirements. We need a cargo bay as well, and a docking bay. Probably one more cruise system, if I'm mistaken. Yes. Oop. That's a cargo bay. That should be a cruise system. It's out of order now. I misclicked. That should be a cruise system, which means I won't. Okay, I gotta. The order's all messed up now. Okay, we'll do it again. Just a quick one. All right, research station, designed from scratch. Grab our labs. Bang, bang. If I don't misclick, we'll get our maintenance savings proper here. Crew systems. Thank you. All right, and then we came to power. Collector. Oop, throw that up one more. Cargo bay and fuel. And I think that should be good other than a docking bay. And one more crew. Okay, there we go. Got it right this time. Yeah, I could have backed up and fixed it, but yeah, start again, which is pretty much what we had to do. This is going to be lab 1. Orbital research. All right, save that. Done. And this is just a habit of mine. I got the master switch shut off here, but it's just the habit I'm in, so I just up with it. That way, if I throw the switch back on, then I know everything's on manual, and I can just pick and choose what I want to put on auto. All right. I'm not going to build anything right yet. Putting down the spaceport right now is going to double our maintenance costs, and we're still building this construction ship, which means as soon as we put down the spaceport, we immediately have to pay maintenance on it. We might as well wait a minute until this gets up to 90% or something. And then we'll put down our spaceport. At that point, we'll start paying the maintenance on it. So we'll just save a little wee bit of money in the meantime, which you got to kind of do that at this level. Every excuse you have to save a bit of money, you need to take it. Look at these percentages. This is horrible. The abundance is 7%, 6%. We got a 7% industrial research as well here. And with one other unknown resource. So we could leave our explorer here to scan the rest of that out, but I know we're going to put some mining stations and research stations here really quick, which will help bring up this exploration level. So I don't really need to leave him sitting here. But what I do want to get him to do is start scanning some of these asteroids around Homeworld. So I'm going to bring him back to this one. I don't think we start with the resource scanner. No. So we got to do asteroids one at a time, unfortunately. So that kind of sucks. So I'm going to probably put our spaceport, I think, right here. So I want to just get a quick scan of like maybe this cluster here, and then come over and get this cluster here, and then I'll build out my mining stations on those. We'll get more steel and Mebnar from here, but the big thing we'll get here is some money for building our private sector mining stations. And like I said, we have to watch our private cash. It's quite possible to bankrupt the private economy by building out too aggressively with their mining stations. They're only making like 3,300 a year, which is less than the cost of a mining station. So if we put down if we wipe this out, putting down mining stations, it's going to be a while before we can build another one while they build out their cash again. Everything they build, we get money for. So we don't want to rob them of everything. And that's a bad situation if that happens. So Aculon is very strong, heat-resistant blue metal, and steel is, well, steel, used for hulls and everything, and 7% industrial research. If your game is automated, immediately hit this button. If you're manually playing, not so critical. But yeah, as soon as you get that, hit that button, and your first construction ship that gets built will come over and build that. I'm manually controlling my construction ship, but I'm probably going to do that anyway. All right, I think that's all we need to look at right now. Get him doing that. That's fine. I'm just going to be hovering around my construction ship here to make sure that I don't miss my opportunity to insert the spaceport. Because the next ship will slip into the queue, and then I'll have to wait for that to build before I get the spaceport started. So in that case, I'd have to delete this ship. So I don't want to really do that. Those ships, the resources and everything are already paid for, so we don't want to waste that. All right. Anyways. Yeah, so we're going to probably be seeing some edits, time-lapsing and edits as we play through. This is probably going to be one such case. Let's get this spaceport up and running. It's either going to be full-out cut edits or time-lapsing. I'm not sure how we'll do it. We'll do it in editing, but yeah, so you won't have to sit through the boring parts. I'll do that. And I'll time-lapse or just outright edit the dead spots. So. But we'll ride this out until the construction ship is ready to go. Yeah, we'll get that going. And as you can see, our money is not budging. Let's have a look at our leader quickly here. And he's labor-oriented, which is another hit to colony happiness and population growth. Yep. Okay, that is what it is, I guess. All right, carry on. Yeah, sometimes you see weird little things happening, and just check your leader because he's probably spawning traits. Okay, we're at 85 on this. We'll insert our spaceport here shortly. We found some Mebnar. Perfect. I just want to hover here for a sec. Okay, we're at 89. Where's our explorer here? Get him at the next mission. Yeah, I just don't want to miss this opportunity to insert our spaceport. I do get a little micromanagey at the beginning here. And there's 92%, so I'm going to pause here. And the only thing we can place in the game... Pause, please. Okay. The only thing we can place in the game is stuff that we build with our homeworlds, or our colonies, because we can right-click and specify where we want our spaceports, where we want our research stations, and that around the colonies. You can't do that with construction ships, unfortunately, and I can't wait till the day we can. But for now, if we select our planet, we can do a long right-click or a control right-click, depending on how you have your preferences set up. And we get the option to build two things here. The lab isn't available because there's no research bonus here, but we could do it up. But we're going to grab our orbital assembly here. And if you watch our ship and base maintenance, 280, that'll go up the minute I put this down. Up to 688 the minute I threw that in. And there it is. First spaceport. A few holes in the wall at the moment, but we'll get those patched up in a coat of paint and everything. It'll look good. All right, so that's done. So our construction ship is still building. We have our spaceport next. And then we have a small freighter and a mining ship, which I think we have more use of. Just going to pop up that one by one. Move stuff around the queue. All right. And we have a new general. I'm not going to do much with him right yet. But we will recruit a troop as soon as we can. And we found some Mebnar here. And some steel. 5%. That's better than the moon. Oh no, moon's 6%. Okay, anyways, we'll carry on. Now that that's done, I don't have to hawk out my homeworld so bad. And we got one more unknown resource here. There's a new construction ship. So I'm just going to grab him right now. I'm going to issue him the order to build this lab immediately. Go. First things first, get the labs up and running. And we are now building the hull here. So once the hull is built, we'll be building a research component after that. We'll be getting our money savings. And we'll be getting our 2 shipyards. The same order I put the components on is the same order they get built out in. We can use those points in those shipyards before the station's even done. Which is fantastic. All right, so we'll wait for that to build out. He's going to go do that, and I'm going to scan out maybe one more of these. Scan that one, and then I'm going to bring them over to these 3 here, and then I'll probably automate the rest of these. I'm not going to do all these one at a time. But I just want to see what's here. What's here? Oh, actually, I don't think you need to do that. We're not going to reach that with one station, maybe. I could build a station here and catch these 2, which I think is enough. I'm mainly looking for the money out of building these. I want to help myself to some of that juicy 122 grand here in the private sector. Get some of our money back. Yep. Yeah, so I don't think I'm going to bother with that cluster. I think I'm just going to come right back over here and do that. We'll do it. We'll scan out these 3, and then I'll set them on auto to do the rest of them. Okay, so there's that. And he's off to build our lab. Perfect. And he's still building the hull, so we just have to watch our budget here. The minute we see this turn red means we need to get some finances on it. However, in this case, there's no finances, there's no money. This is just going to be 0 forever. But normally I come in and monkey with this once the labs get up and built. But I don't have to do that this time because our money sucks. Oh, we discovered Thalia at Homeworld. Okay, that was the other resource. Okay, I'll take it, I guess. I was hoping for silicon, but it is what it is. And it's a purple gemstone used in weapon components. All right. We have a year left before we get out of work, pre-work. All our numbers are probably not going to do a whole lot here, other than this one's going to start jumping up as we build stuff out. Ow. Wow. That is so much money gone. 13 grand gone. Spent on gambling and illicit activities, I guess. I don't know what kind of illicit activities a Mortalen would get into, but okay. We got 14 grand left in the bank, which is slowly being eaten away at by our budget.